My name is Eleanor, and for 12 years, I was a ghost. Not a spectral being haunting old houses, but a living, breathing woman declared dead by the very people who gave me life, my parents. Their silence was a tomb, their abandonment a suffocating shroud. But as fate would have it, a ghost can still rise, and sometimes a ghost can become a titan. And when that happens, the living might just regret their eulogy. I grew up in a household steeped in tradition, where expectations were as rigid as the antique furniture that adorned our living room. My parents, successful professionals in their own right, had a meticulously crafted vision for my future. It involved a specific university, a pre-approved career path in law or medicine, and eventually a marriage to a suitable, well-established man from a respectable family. My life, it seemed, was a blueprint they had drawn before I even learned to walk. From a young age, I felt the weight of their gaze, the silent pressure to conform, to be the perfect daughter who would uphold their legacy and social standing. Every achievement, every academic award, every polite conversation with their friends felt less like a personal victory and more like ticking a box on their grand checklist. But even as a child, a quiet rebellion simmered within me. While they envisioned me poring over legal texts, my mind was captivated by the nascent world of technology. I'd spend hours in the library, not with classics, but with obscure programming manuals, devouring concepts that felt like a secret language only I understood. The logic, the creativity, the sheer potential of it all ignited a spark in me that no amount of parental expectation could extinguish. I saw a future not in dusty courtrooms, but in the boundless digital frontier, a world where innovation, not tradition, reigned supreme. As I approached high school graduation, the chasm between their dreams and mine became a gaping canyon. They had already arranged interviews at Ivy League schools for pre-law programs. I, on the other hand, had secretly applied to a cutting-edge computer science program at a university known for its tech innovation, thousands of miles away from our family home. The acceptance letter arrived on a crisp autumn morning, tucked away in my backpack, a symbol of both hope and impending confrontation. I remember the weight of that envelope, the crinkle of the paper, the tremor in my hands as I finally laid it on the polished mahogany dining table where my parents sat, sipping their morning coffee. My father, a man of imposing stature and even more imposing will, picked it up first. His eyes, usually cool and calculating, narrowed as he read the university's name, then the program. My mother, ever the diplomat, attempted a strained smile. "Eleanor, darling, what is this, a backup plan?" "It's my plan," I said, my voice barely a whisper, yet firm with a resolve I hadn't known I possessed. "I've been accepted into their computer science program. It's an incredible opportunity." The silence that followed was deafening, thicker than any argument. My father slowly placed the letter back on the table, his gaze piercing. "This is not what we discussed, Eleanor. This is not the future we planned for you. A woman in technology? It's unbecoming, unstable." My mother, usually softer, chimed in. "We have a reputation to maintain. Our family, our connections. A career in coding, it's simply not suitable. We have an engagement in mind for you, a wonderful young man, ready to settle down, provide stability." That was it. The arranged marriage, the ultimate tether. I felt a surge of indignation, a burning heat rising from my stomach to my throat. My life is not a business arrangement. I don't want to be settled down. I want to build something. I want to innovate. I want to be me. The argument escalated, voices rising, words turning into daggers. I remember my father's face, contorted with a mixture of anger and disappointment, his words cutting deeper than any physical blow. "If you walk away from the life we've built for you, if you choose this folly, then you are no daughter of ours. You will be dead to us, Eleanor. Do you understand? Dead." My mother, usually the mediator, remained silent, her eyes fixed on her teacup, a silent accomplice to my father's decree. And just like that, I was disowned. No dramatic farewell, no tearful hugs, just a cold, hard declaration. The next day, I packed a single suitcase, emptied my meager savings, and bought a bus ticket to that distant university. As the bus pulled away, I glanced back at the house that had been my prison and my sanctuary. It stood silent, indifferent, just as my parents were. The silence was absolute. No phone calls, no letters, no attempts to reach out. For 12 long years, I ceased to exist in their world. The first few years were a brutal baptism by fire. I arrived at university with barely enough money for textbooks, let alone living expenses. The initial thrill of freedom quickly gave way to the harsh realities of independence. I worked 3 part-time jobs, waiting tables, tutoring, and graveyard shifts at a convenience store, just to keep a roof over my head and food in my stomach. Sleep was a luxury, often stolen in short, fitful bursts between classes and shifts. My dorm room, a cramped shoebox with a perpetually leaky faucet, became my sanctuary for coding, fueled by cheap instant coffee and an unshakable resolve. Loneliness was a constant companion. Seeing other students call home, hear their parents' voices, receive care packages, each instance was a fresh stab of pain, a stark reminder of what I had lost. There were moments of profound despair when the weight of their words, dead to us, felt crushingly real. I'd curl up in my bed, tears silently tracing paths down my temples, wondering if I'd made a terrible mistake. But then the anger would resurface, a burning ember deep within me. I refused to let them be right. I refused to fail. My studies became my refuge, my passion a lifeline. I immersed myself in the complex algorithms, the elegant lines of code, the endless possibilities of software development. I excelled, not just academically, but in practical projects, often staying up all night to perfect a program, debug a system, or collaborate with fellow insomniac tech enthusiasts. I found a new family among my peers, misfits and dreamers, just like me, who saw the world not as it was, but as it could be, transformed by technology. After graduation, the real grind began. The tech world was competitive, cutthroat. I started at the bottom, an entry-level developer at a small, struggling startup, building obscure back-end systems. The pay was abysmal, the hours relentless, and the future uncertain. There were days I ate instant noodles for every meal, days I questioned if I would ever escape the cycle of barely scraping by. But I learned, I adapted, I pushed myself beyond limits I thought I had. I learned to thrive on challenges, to see failure not as an end, but as a stepping stone. I absorbed every lesson, every piece of advice, every technological advancement like a sponge. I moved from one startup to another, each time learning more, taking on greater responsibilities. I wasn't just coding anymore. I was designing architectures, leading small teams, pitching ideas to investors. I learned the art of negotiation, the science of market analysis, the psychology of leadership. My personal life remained sparse. Relationships were fleeting, often sacrificed at the altar of ambition. My chosen family consisted of my colleagues, my mentors, the late-night pizza runs, and the shared triumphs and failures of building something from nothing. My big break came with a groundbreaking idea for a new AI-driven analytics platform. It was a bold concept, requiring immense capital and a leap of faith. I poured every ounce of my being into it, working 18-hour days, living and breathing the project. I pitched to countless venture capitalists, facing skepticism, rejection, and outright dismissal. But I persevered, refining my pitch, honing my product, fueled by an almost desperate need to prove not just to my parents, but to myself that I was capable. Finally, a small, forward-thinking firm saw the potential, investing a seed round that allowed me to bring my vision to life. We launched. The first year was a roller coaster of sleepless nights, code freezes, and the constant fear of collapse. But the platform gained traction, slowly at first, then exponentially. Our user base exploded. We scaled, we hired, we innovated at a furious pace. My small team grew into a formidable force, and I, the girl disowned for choosing technology, found myself at the helm of a rapidly expanding tech company. 12 years. 12 years of birthdays uncelebrated by them, holidays spent with friends instead of family, milestones achieved in silent solitude. 12 years since I heard their voices, saw their faces, or received a single word of acknowledgement. The wound had scarred over, but it was still there, a phantom ache that reminded me of the profound betrayal. I had built an empire from the ashes of their abandonment. But a part of me always wondered if, deep down, I was still trying to earn their approval, trying to prove them wrong. Then came the day my company, Ascendant Analytics, a name I chose because it signified rising, not just in business, but from the depths of personal adversity, was officially listed on the Fortune 500. The news broke like wildfire. Industry publications lauded our rapid growth, our innovative approach. My face, once an unknown entity, was now plastered across business magazines, my name synonymous with success, resilience, and technological prowess. I stood on the stage accepting an award, the bright lights blinding, the applause deafening. A wave of triumph washed over me, a feeling of pure, unadulterated victory. But beneath it, a quiet voice whispered, "They'll see this. They'll know." And they did. My phone, usually reserved for business calls and close friends, vibrated with an unfamiliar number. It was a text message. My breath hitched in my throat as I saw the sender. Mom. Just that one word, loaded with 12 years of unspoken pain, anger, and longing. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Eleanor, it's your mother. We saw the news about Ascendant Analytics. We are so incredibly proud of you. We always knew you had it in you. We'd love to reconnect. It's been too long. Call us. My world tilted. Pride? Always knew? Reconnect? The audacity of it was breathtaking. 12 years of absolute chilling silence. 12 years of me building myself from nothing, enduring countless hardships, all while they lived their comfortable lives, pretending I didn't exist. And now, because my name was associated with a Fortune 500 company, because I had achieved the kind of status they understood and valued, they suddenly wanted back in? It wasn't about me. It was about what I represented now. It was about their reflection in my success. A storm of emotions raged within me. The little girl who had desperately craved their love and approval resurfaced, whispering, maybe they've changed. Maybe they genuinely miss me. But the woman I had become, forged in the fires of abandonment and independence, quickly silenced her. No, this isn't genuine. This is opportunistic. This is them trying to reclaim what they discarded. I didn't respond immediately. I couldn't. I spent days in a haze, replaying every memory, every harsh word, every silent birthday. My friends, my chosen family, noticed my distraction. My CLO, Sarah, a fierce, loyal woman who had been with me since the startup days, sat me down. "Eleanor, what's going on? You're not yourself." I showed her the text. She read it, her face hardening. The nerve! After all this time! What are you going to do? I don't know, I confessed, my voice raw. A part of me wants to scream, to lash out. Another part, the foolish part, just wants to hear them say they're sorry. Truly sorry. They won't, Sarah said gently, but firmly. They'll try to spin it, to make it about them. You need to decide what you need, Eleanor, not what they want. Her words resonated. I needed closure. I needed to confront the ghosts of my past, not for their sake, but for mine. I sent a short, carefully worded reply. I received your message. I am willing to meet, but only if we can discuss the past, openly and honestly. I suggest we meet at a neutral location. They agreed with surprising alacrity, suggesting a quiet, upscale restaurant. I arrived early, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. The restaurant was elegant, hushed, a stark contrast to the tumultuous emotions churning inside me. When they walked in, impeccably dressed, looking exactly as I remembered, a strange sense of unreality settled over me. They looked older, perhaps, a little more worn, but the same aura of dignified expectations still clung to them. My mother rushed forward, a practiced smile on her face, arms outstretched. "Eleanor, my darling girl, look at you, so successful, so beautiful." Her voice was saccharine, devoid of genuine warmth, a performance for the public eye. My father, ever stoic, offered a stiff nod, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "We are very proud, Eleanor, very proud indeed." I did not hug my mother. I simply extended my hand, a formal gesture. "Mother, father, thank you for coming." My voice was calm, steady, betraying none of the turmoil within. I sat down, facing them across the pristine white tablecloth, two strangers who once held my entire world in their hands. They launched into a rehearsed monologue, praising my achievements, reminiscing about my childhood as if the last 12 years of my existence simply hadn't happened. "We always knew you were destined for greatness," my mother gushed, "even when you were so headstrong about that computer science. We just wanted what was best for you, dear."
My father nodded. "Indeed, we merely guided you. Perhaps our methods were firm, but it was out of love. And now, look, you've proven us right, haven't you?" The words hung in the air, dripping with self-congratulation, completely devoid of apology or acknowledgement of their cruelty. They had rewritten history, painting themselves as the wise, guiding parents, and me as the prodigal daughter who had finally seen the light. The anger, cold and sharp, solidified within me. "No," I said, my voice cutting through their narrative. "You didn't guide me. You disowned me. You declared me dead. For 12 years, I was a ghost to you. There was no guidance, no support, no love, only silence." My mother's smile faltered. My father's expression tightened. "Eleanor, that's harsh. We were upset, yes, but we never meant." "You meant exactly what you said," I interrupted, my gaze unwavering. "You told me I was dead to you, and I honored your wishes. I built my life from scratch, with no help, no comfort, no family. Every success, every failure, every lonely moment, I faced alone. You chose to bury me alive, and I chose to rise from that grave, not because of you, but in spite of you." My mother's eyes welled up, a dramatic performance. "How can you say such things? We are your parents. We love you." "Love?" I scoffed, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. "Is that what you call it? Is love conditional on adherence to your predetermined plan? Is love absent for 12 years, only to reappear when your daughter's name is on the Fortune 500 list? No, that's not love. That's opportunism. That's a desire to bask in reflected glory, to claim a piece of what you discarded." My father, usually so composed, visibly bristled. "Eleanor, you are being disrespectful. We came here to reconcile, to welcome you back into the family." "Welcome me back?" I leaned forward, my voice dropping to a low, dangerous whisper that commanded their attention. "You don't get to welcome me back. You relinquished that right 12 years ago. You mourned me, you buried me, you moved on. I simply honored your wishes. And now I'm here to tell you that the person you declared dead, the daughter you disowned, she's gone. She died that day the bus pulled away from your house. The woman sitting before you, Eleanor, CEO of Ascendant Analytics, she built her own family, her own life, her own success without you. And she doesn't need your approval, your pride, or your conditional love." My mother started to protest, but I raised a hand, silencing her. "I understand you saw the news. I understand you now see my value through a different lens. But the truth is, your opinion no longer holds any weight for me. You made your choice. I made mine. And my choice led me here, to a place where I am truly free." I stood up, pushing my chair back with a soft scrape against the polished floor. My eyes met my father's, then my mother's, and for the first time, I saw not anger or disappointment, but a flicker of genuine shock, perhaps even regret in their eyes. But it was too late. The emotional well had run dry. "I wish you both well," I said, my voice devoid of emotion, a finality in every syllable. "But our paths diverged a long time ago, and I have no intention of turning back." With that, I walked away. I didn't look back. As I stepped out into the bustling city street, a profound sense of lightness enveloped me. The phantom ache was gone. The weight of their expectations, their judgment, their abandonment, it had finally lifted. The revenge wasn't in hurting them or demanding their money or publicly shaming them. The revenge was in standing before them, whole and triumphant, and calmly telling them that their power over me was dead. It was in living my best life, on my own terms, and proving that the ghost they buried had not only risen, but had built an empire they could only watch from the outside, forever excluded from its walls. I was Eleanor, and I was finally, truly free.